Well, welcome everyone here in the room and on the YouTube channel after the recording. Today is the second session of our How I Built This series with the creators and residents. Last week was the kickoff with Lee Hills, who showed us how he built a landing page in Bubble, which you can watch back on our YouTube channel. And now today is the second creator and resident, Kat Ryzen, which you probably have seen in the Slack community or on Twitter, where she built a no-code guru, sold it, and now is quickly raising a big audience for her newsletter, No Code Exit. Today, she's gonna demo how she built the chatbot, no-code guru with Landbot. So I think that's gonna be a fun one. So yeah, Kat, great to have you here, and take it away. Show us how you built it.
Okay. Let me share my screen. It's working okay like this. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm Kat. Very nice introduction, Harold. Yeah, I'm just building a lot of small side projects with no code and learning as I build. So I'm certainly not a no code professional or a no code expert. So yeah, I think anyone can build this. The cool thing about No Code Guru is that thanks to the chatbot, you can turn a quite boring database in like a fun interactive tool. So let's first maybe check it out so that you all see what I'm talking about. So No Code Guru is an advisor that will tell you which no code tool is the best tool to build your ID. Because when I just started with no code, it was like so overwhelming. When I wanted to build something, but there were so many tools and I was really overwhelmed. And so I thought let's make a fun solution for this. There were a lot of directories with filters, etc. But with Landbot, I could make something more fun and interactive. So it's just a website, and then you go to the chat function, and there you will see the bot. He asks you some questions. You can use some GIFs, which is always a plus. Then he asks, what kind of web app do you want to build? So let's say we want to build a marketplace. He asked, how much time do you want to spend on building? Because in no code, you have the tools that you can learn in a few hours or days. And then you have the tools where you still have to learn for a few weeks before you can have something functional. So that's why I use this question. Then the design, also big difference. You have the tools where you can go for fully customized design. And then there are the tools that you work more with templates or building blocks where you can maybe change the color or the font, but not everything. Choose one. Then where do you want to store your data? It's also always an important one. A lot of tools work with Airtable or with Google Sheets. And then, yeah, also the answer doesn't matter. We go for Airtable. And then here he shows you some answers. So he says that the good tools are Glide Apps, Drapcode, and Software. And I always only show 3 answers because otherwise it's a bit overwhelming. And then you click on it, and then it's finished, and then you can share it with friends or start over. So yeah, that's basically it. Very simple. Maybe let's now see how I built this. So maybe it's first good to know the website is just a website made with software, where I embedded a video, where you have the chatbot also embedded with custom code. So nothing really special. Then there is the second tool is Airtable. I can show you. It's really small base of no-code tools. And if you see it like this, it's pretty boring and static, but thanks to using Landbot, you can show this in a very interactive way. And so here I defined all the use cases and the features actually for each tool. I also had website builders on it, and I was working on some adding some tutorials, but yeah, I deleted it when I sold it to the other person because it was not finished yet. Okay, and then so this is the Airtable base, very simple. And then here is Landbot itself. So this is here in Landbot, you define the questions and the flow of your chatbot. So it shows it's very visual. And you connect all the blocks to define the flow. You start with just an introduction, and then you ask all your different questions. Maybe show you here on the blue button. Here you can see what the possible, which blocks you can add in Landbot. So for the questions, I use the button block a lot. Just the text is this, send the message. But yeah, there are so many possibilities. I didn't try them all myself, but especially here at the end, there are also a lot of integrations, so you can connect it with Zapier or with Google Sheets or with Stripe. You can accept payments in Landbot. You can connect it to a webhook or with your Calendly calendar. And yeah, also some other interesting stuff is human takeover. I had it in the beginning, not in this flow anymore. So that you can ask, hey, do you want to talk to an expert or something like that? And then a chat opens and they can chat with you. So also very cool. There's also a way to collect email addresses. So then you ask, what's your email? And yeah, that's good way to collect leads. But I wanted to keep No Code Guru easy accessible, so I never asked for an email upfront, which maybe is stupid. I don't know. Okay, so in the bot, if we start with a normal message, and then if we just check out maybe one question, I won't bore you with checking every question in detail, but the principle is that you have the different answers here in these little boxes. And then very important always for every question is that you have to define a name for the field where you want to save the answer. So people will select an answer in the chatbot, and then their answer is saved in this field. And this field you will use later to create your formula. So that it works like that for every question. And also good to know is you can choose if every question goes to a different flow. So you can make it very complex. Or you can choose that every answer goes to the same next question. I only did it, I think I have, yes, I have a different flow for when people select SaaS, because there are not that many tools that that have this. So if they follow the normal flow, there wouldn't be a lot of answers. So that's why I created one extra here, and all the other answers go to this next question. Same for here, they go to the next question. So those are the questions, and then the second part, when you set up this chatbot, is that you connect it to Airtable. You of course can also have all the content in your chatbot, but by connecting it to Airtable, you have this very clear backend with all your data. And with a formula, you will then display the correct result. So connection with Airtable is, as you know it with other tools, you connect your API code, and then you can choose your base and your table. And then here in the action part, that's interesting. So for No Code Guru, we get multiple records. So that means that it will get multiple records from the Airtable base into a Landbot. But you can also say only get one record if you want to limit it. But it can also work the other way around, so that you add a record to your Airtable base. I used this for a while when I asked for feedback in the chatbot tool, and then the feedback that people filled in was sent to the same Airtable base. So it's a pretty good way to collect data into one central location. And yeah, you can also update a record. Then the most important thing is the formula. So this this calculates the correct result for the answers that people fill in. It's not that difficult, I think, if you're used to formulas, but yeah, still it took me some time, because you really have to pay attention that you have all the little signs correct and stuff like that. And then again, after you have defined the formula, you again have to save your list into, have to name it, because this then will again be used in a later step. Also very handy feature here is the log function, where you can see what if someone uses the chatbot, if it worked, and if it didn't work, what the error is. So you use this function a lot in the beginning if you want to see if your formula is working okay. So as long as it says here true, everything is fine. And when it says false, you know, you have to look for the mistake in your formula. So that's this step. And then we have the connection with Airtable, and then the dynamic data is the next block, and that's the block you will need to display the results into your chatbot. So here is this field that we defined in the previous block. So then it knows I have to display this answer. And then with these fields, you will define what you want to show from your Airtable base in your chatbot. So I only chose to show the name of the tool. I have been experimenting with extra information and link to the tool, but I didn't like the user experience if I did that, so I kept it very simple. And also again, you can save then the answer that people click, because I showed 3 tools. So I again save what they click. So let's say maybe you want to, after that, send an email to them with the results of their selection, then you can use that field for that. I never did that, but could be interesting to do, I think. And yeah, then it's you have again some normal questions where you ask to share it or to start over, or you can ask some more questions. Everything is possible. And maybe also one good thing to know is this red line. If there is an error in your data or in your formula, then it will show this error message to the user. So it's also when they select a combination of features that doesn't have a result in your Airtable base, then they will get this. So it's also pretty easy to set up. And yeah, so this is the flow. And then you have some other options. You can completely design it as you wish. You can choose the background color, the icon, yeah, font, all kind of settings. Yeah, that's normal settings. And then here, this is also interesting. So I chose to embed my chatbot on a landing page, but you can also choose to show it as a pop-up or show it as a full page, or as this live chat pop-up in the right corner. And then there's also all kind of statistics that you can analyze, and you can see where people drop off, stuff like that. So pretty expensive tool. Also expensive, by the way. I think it's for the Airtable function. It's a paying function, and it costs I think 80 euros per month. But we have a discount code in the 100 days of no code community. It's 50% off for the first year, so that's pretty interesting. So yeah, that was No Code Guru. Where are you? I'm here. Any questions?
Yeah, thanks, Kat, for showing us around. I see Lee was raising his hand, his real hand. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think Tolga was asking as well, but yeah, I was just going to ask. So after you've embedded it and put it on your site, do you need to keep paying for your subscription after you've built the app in order to keep using it?
Yeah, you have. Sadly, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think when you don't pay, the Airtable integration just gets blocked, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So there's a free version though, is there?
Yeah, there is a free version, but then you don't have those integrations. So then it's just, yeah, the normal chatbot stuff where everything is in Landbot and not a connection with the external tools, which is also fun. But I think the connection with the external tools is what makes it so, yeah, powerful and cool.
Cool.
Yeah, monthly fee, you said 80?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
bit.
That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, okay. But my question is actually, I have another question. So as I understand, the answer are, I mean, it's like you are asking a question which will be connected to a column of your Airtable database, right?
Yeah.
And then step by step, you are reaching a conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question is there an easier way, I mean, for a user experience, if I don't have to answer the question step by step, other than that, I will say easy or easy task kind of stuff, and then you discover to search for around your database, and then if you come with the conclusion, is there a way to do that with Landbot?
In Landbot, you will always have the format of questions and then answers. Of course, you can maybe I worked with an end formula. So yeah, if you answer this and this and this is the result. But maybe you can play with your formula to do it differently. And yeah, otherwise there's just a resource directory with filters if you want to have it more quick and a more visual overview of everything, then a resource directory with software or Doric is probably a better solution. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will dig deeper, I guess, when I will,
Yeah.
use it. Thank you.
No problem.
Pablo, I see you are also raising your hand.
Hey, Kat, thanks for
Hey.
the presentation. Great
No
to see the behind the scenes of the group. So my question was, well, actually a few questions. What was the biggest technical challenge that you had during building the project? And then hypothetically, if you were to build it again from scratch, what would you change from your process? Or would you pick, for instance, other tools, or how would you build it again now that you know how tough and challenging that it was?
The most challenging was for me the formula, I think. It's maybe the only little bit technical part. In the beginning, I also had trouble figuring out like the Airtable integration and that it needed to be linked to a dynamic block. There was and is, I still think, a lot of documentation about this. So yeah, it was a bit figuring out, but if you are into no code, you like that part, I think, to figure it out and find a solution.
Yeah, you'll just learn how to Google it.
Yeah. And I also now created some articles around it on how to set it up. So if anyone is interested, let me know and I will share it. And if I would start over, I actually first started with a very complex flow. And I had like all these very detailed questions and all the questions leading to something different. But yeah, I was stuck and I couldn't get it working. So yeah, I learned about defining a minimum scope. So I did that. I kept it very simple. Just limited it to a few questions, also not too many tools, because that was overwhelming. And then I started question by question, and if one question worked, I went to the next. So yeah, I think my advice is always to start very simple, and if you see it's working, then you extend it further and further.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyone else?
How does it compare?
Anyone else?
Lee,
Sorry. No, you go.
How does it compare with when you built your camper fan bot?
I didn't use Airtable. I wish I had. I think mine was like, as Kat described, very complex at the beginning, and I wish I'd simplified it a bit. I think, but yeah, very similar. I think they've improved it a lot. There's a lot more features, and good to have the Airtable feature, and also to have the Stripe integration is interesting because you could.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
You could take. Does No Code Guru take payments at any point, or were you planning to do that? Take payment?
No, never. I always thought that no one would pay for that.
Yeah.
Well, you were thinking of this when you were building it. You were thinking of the a human takeover and maybe
Right, yeah. That part was paying. That you pay like and then you can talk to a no-code expert or something like that.
Like a consultation. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Could also,
or you could. Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, maybe Letitia, that could also work for the workouts, right? With the chatbot, I choose what are you up to today, and then maybe even meet the instructor.
Definitely. I was always thinking about using it, but I was always a bit hesitant with the prices of Landbot. I was like, no, I don't want to be too dependent on it. And then have to pay too much.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
They
yeah,
should
then
have
you
like
have to make something paying, then it's okay.
Yes, exactly. Or they should have like a license, which is, I don't know, with like a few less features and then a bit.
Yeah, I think I talked to someone that they do have a special license for startups or something like that.
Okay.
So maybe that's something to try out.
Yeah. Well, we definitely will reach out again to them for the community perks. So hopefully we get some good deals in. Yeah.
But it is already an interesting deal, I think, 50%. That's not a discount that we get often. And I'm
But
also an affiliate. So yeah, I earned some money with that, but yeah, it's maybe it covers 1 month or something like that.
You're a Landbot influencer.
Yeah, they actually did write a lot of articles about it, like on MakerPad, and Software also featured it on their blog, stuff like that. So I actually should be an influencer.
Did you ever think of that process of like how did you go about, like after you built it, and how did you think about, you know, promoting it across all of these different channels and just platforms, right? Because
yeah,
it was a great project, and I think you made a great job gaining in visibility for your project. Like I think it was brilliant, to be honest.
Yeah, I did the classic stuff. I launched it on Product Hunt first. And by launching it there, it got picked up by MakerPad and Software Community, and then they interviewed me or asked me how I created it. Then they featured it in their newsletter. So yeah, like that, it got a lot of not promotion but visibility. And it's also kind of something likable. It's not, I think, something that you will use every day, but when you check it out for the first time, it's like, oh yeah, that's cool.
It's cool. It is a cool project, I think. And that leads to my other question. Sorry for too many questions. But how did you, how was that moment when you kind of made that decision of, you know, finalizing that project and listening on you know, one of these acquisition platforms?
Yeah, I did work on it still for a few months, 2 or 3 months, I think, after the launch on Product Hunt. But then I got shiny object syndrome, you know, and started working on other things, and and then I listed it on MicroAcquire, forgot about it, and a few months later I got an offer. So only then I started seriously thinking, do I really want to sell it or not? And then I made a list of positive and negative points. And yeah, I was not building it anymore. It's something free. It was only costing me money and not generating any money. So it was also a pretty good deal. So yeah, I went for it. And if I now look back to it, it was a really good decision, because that is also what made me start No Code Exits. Otherwise, I would never have done that, I think. So yeah.
And I think no coders are grateful for your newsletter.
Yeah, very. I did a survey last week, and I got some really good feedback. People love the ads. That's really weird.
Yeah, some people mentioned they don't even read the interviews, right? They only read the ads.
They only read. because it are
Only read
yeah.
what? Sorry, what was that?
They
So
only read
Yes.
the ads.
I-
Yeah.
The adverts.
advertisements.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so good for the advertising then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
that's the, I think it are all these cool no code or indie businesses. So yeah, it are just relevant, fun tools. So people enjoy reading it, I think. Yeah.
Great. And see, when seeing this, Shay, I know you have some really extensive Airtable bases you've been working on. Is there something you could work with to get it alive, or got ideas from this?
You're so funny. I have absolutely no idea.
All right.
I do know about the other, like the website. I told a friend about the software you were using because I've never heard of it before. And she does a lot of mobile apps. So I was like, have you heard of this? And she's like, no. I'm like, you need to go check it out. I don't know. It's not, I'm such in a weird niche with my no code stuff. I do everything for internal use. I'm weird. However, I'm sure that somehow I will need to eventually start talking to people on my websites. I just don't. Since I do a lot of photos, you don't really need to talk to people. You just kind of need them to see your photos and then say, hey, I'll pay you to come and take pictures. So it's weird, but I always like seeing what you design. I like seeing other apps that I've never thought of or don't even consider that I can use in personal or business. So that's why I came.
Yeah. Well, great. Inspiration is always good, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think Shay is being very humble with her Airtable game,
Yeah.
because I know that you got some very serious base there. I remember you posted something a while ago, and I think with Mark Fletcher we figured it out in the end.
But that's because I like the formulas now.
Yeah.
When I started,
that's
I did
how
not
you
like
run
the
your
formulas.
business.
But yeah, and even now
Yeah.
I'm still collaborating or combining all the different databases that I have into one big database, which is what takes forever to make them all work together. But yeah, I'm having fun doing that.
Yeah, what I liked about seeing from your demo, Kat, is that you can actually, within the flow of the bot, you can pull information from the Airtable. Which you, for example, if you use Tally or softer forms, you can do that, right? That you in the form, you want to pull the data in to work with it. That's really awesome. That's Landbot enables you to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can also personalize it, that you, for example, ask in the first question, what's your name? And then you reuse the name somewhere later in the question. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question? I'm sorry if you've already said this, Ken. Thank you. That was amazing. That's really
No problem.
Does it work the other way? You just mentioned forms, Howard. So let's say if we wanted someone to submit something, could they do that in the other way and then feed that data back into the Airtable database?
Yeah. So indeed, you can ask any question, email addresses, feedback, and you can send that back to Airtable.
Wicked. Okay, nice one.
Yeah, does it give you some inspiration for your MVP for the bootcamp, Juliette?
Definitely for when my sister joins the next one, I think for hers it will be perfect. I think it's cool. It's quite I definitely like it for submission tools. I don't know whether it'll work if I'm going to keep the crypto tools database because it's quite massive, but yeah, it's cool and it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have like a directory of tools, or how are you thinking? So you want people to send some parameters or some data, and you retrieve some responses or suggestions, or how does that work?
For my one.
Yeah.
So I've got I started off doing it with a tally form and integrating. So what I've done for the bulk, I've got about 1,000 in an Airtable database I'm going to upload myself into Webflow currently. And then the idea would be that a form that I could just more easily input them in, and then people could submit their tools or recommend a tool as well. So yeah, bulk will be in Airtable, which I'm just trying to like not go too far without getting the right fields in. But then yeah, some kind of cool way to submit kind of other tools or recommend or be sponsored. I've had a couple of the devs that I know that want a sponsor position maybe. So I need to work out how to do that. So stuff like that, I think.
See, I did the same thing. Sorry, I did the same thing with my Webflow. When I have my clients sign up for me to do a photo shoot, I had them fill out a form in Webflow that then went through Zapier, that then went into Airtable, since they don't talk yet. And then from Airtable, I get the email plus it goes on the calendars for both of us, so that we'll know that the photo shoot got scheduled. So I have that part. I haven't figured out a way to connect the Airtable files to Webflow. So if someone needs to drop down to their actual photo shoot, I haven't figured out how to do that part yet, but that's like the next stage of my form process. So looking at this was great. I'm like, okay, I need everybody to talk, and I haven't figured, I'm still working on it. So I get exactly what you're talking about with the Webflow going from Airtable and Airtable Webflow. It's tricky.
Yeah, I think I still can't work out because I was doing a tally form into Airtable with a URL into the generate image to then go into Webflow, but I can't manage to slow it down enough to not get it into Webflow before the image generates. So I'm going to build it first and then worry about that after.
Cool. I think what you could do is just share it on the channel if you are not having maybe clarity or are having some questions with this process that you're trying to map out on the ask and offer channels. And there's always someone that has already done it or has an idea of how to do it. For instance, I love using Airtable, and I'm trying not to use like Make, Integromat, or Zapier because I already have the built-in integrations in Airtable, and they're actually quite powerful, and they're actually, it looks like they're copying, Zapier, one of these automation tools, because they're just doing the same. They are passing some conditions, passing some data, and then executing actions based on that. So I think Airtable, great choice for anything in general.
Airtable fan.
Totally agree.
Yeah, could tell that. Yeah, they are looking more and more the same right now, because Zapier is adding tables. So later you can keep your data within Zapier and automate things there. So yeah, great to see this, Kat. One thing I was wondering about the fields, like every question you mentioned, you have to add a name of the field to it for each question. Those names don't have to be the same as in Airtable, right? Only when you send information to Airtable or get information out of it.
Yeah, it's those names are used in your formula. Yeah. But in your formula, you also need to use your Airtable names, and there you have to pay attention that it's exactly the same, and also pay attention that there are no how do we say that, like a question mark or something like that, the signs in your title, because otherwise you get you get errors, or you can't find why something is not working. So keep your Airtable names very simple, and then it's okay.
Yeah, it's a good recommendation. And if you have to reflect on it, how from all the work you have done, how big was the part for the research to get your data in? Because I think before you start, you have to do something to collect some data. How big, what percentage was building the flows, and how much was doing the formulas for you? So the three.
Yeah, I first started with a very big tool database. So I simplified it when I noticed it was too much to show I don't know 20 tools as an answer. So I really cleaned the base and only made sure that there were a few tools for every use case so that you were not overwhelmed. So yeah, the database was maybe 20% work. I think 20% formula and 60% or 40% figuring out how everything had to be set up and connected. And then 20% fun
Fixing
stuff
bugs.
like fixing bugs and choosing a gradient background.
Oh, for sure. Choosing a font.
Yeah, the fun part. Yeah, it's really fun to do. So I can recommend anyone to just try it. I think it could work like for every subject, like AI guru or Web3 guru, camper van guru,
bubble guru.
Yeah, bubble guru.
I mean, I was going to ask that. Have you thought about doing other projects, especially because you sold it on Microacquire? Were you tempted to do another one?
Yeah, I actually have been thinking about it, but didn't have the time yet. I have been thinking about it for AI because I had the same problem as when I started in no code. I didn't know which tool to use, and now I have the same problem for AI. I wanted to create a logo with AI, and then I didn't know which is the best AI tool to do that. So yeah, could be copy paste and.
Well, I think Tolga has been playing with some AI tech recently.
Your images.
Yeah, they were really cool. Really cool. Yeah. Did you drop the link, Tolga?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry, carry on, perhaps.
No, I just wanted to ask Tolga to drop the link so we can see the images that he generated with AI, which was really cool.
Kat, when you sold it through Microacquire, did you, because it looks like you kept the actual Lambot application part, did you just sell the website?
No, it's in Lambot, you can't transfer something to another person. So you create a template, and so the buyer copied the template. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I still have it, but I also made a copy of the Airtable base, a copy of the website, so I still have everything. But yeah, I won't use it, but maybe for tutorials like this.
Again, useful if you did another project, because at least then you can go back and
indeed,
how you did it, even if you do something else. Yeah.
I was also thinking to offer it as a productized service, like tell me your subject, tell me your questions, and I make a chatbot for you.
Yeah.
But what would you become then? A guru?
Guru.com. That sounds good.
It's pretty tough.
You also built a little chatbot for domain addicts, right?
Yeah.
I love
that. That was more simple. Yeah. That was without Airtable.
Such a good name.
Yeah. I should do something with it. It's been it's been sleeping a bit, so I should promote it a little bit more and extend it.
Yeah. And one other thing, I'm not sure how that would work, but could you implement custom code if needed? Is that possible in Lambot?
Yeah, it is possible, but I didn't use it yet, so I'm not sure how it works. But there is a block for custom code. I know that.
For example, I know Manish, you've written before to me that you used some scripts in Google Sheets and Excel. Maybe that could help with the.
First of all, thanks, Kate, for that presentation.
Yeah, very well.
I actually tried using the script earlier, but again, that was copy pasted from Google because I had that idea. I have searched that problem and I found some solution. So I've done some modification in that code and somehow it worked. So actually, I don't understand those scripting part, but yes, but that's why I'm here, because those ideas are there. I want to see, can I bring those things out from Excel and create something out of it. So this chatbot also gave me a good idea regarding a checklist which I can create for my team. So thanks, Kate.
You're welcome.
Your background is, you mentioned you're Lean and Six Sigma and
Yes, actually, so I'm into this business performance improvement area. So we basically focus more on this hard copies, and max to max we go to Excels. Recently we started using Power BI and Tableau. So but in my projects I try to use some kind of a digital tools. So in India we use this Zoho apps as well sometimes. So I was able to see that, yes, and when I got this understanding of RPA and no code tools, so and I started Googling what actually it all about. So then I understood that yes, it is possible for me, whatever ideas I have, maybe it can be bring down to some kind of an app which will help me in these exercises.
interesting. Yeah.
Another question. Do you know if I don't know whether this might be a device thing, or would it support voice commands? If you were to talk into it to answer a question, I don't know how accurate, or whether A would or B, how accurate it would be.
I didn't see it, so I'm not sure. Let me quickly check it.
But you could do that with voice flow or something like that.
Yeah, maybe that you
maybe.
can connect those two.
Yeah, I've seen that there is like you can program logic with voice flow and build apps, basically like voice apps. So I think there's a learning path for voice flow. So let me see if I can find it.
I don't see it in Landbot here, so I don't think it's something that is included or as a feature.
Go on, check out voice flow. Wicked.
Mm-hmm. Right, and Ozan, I'm not sure if you could still hear us. Could this help you with your internal tools for your agency you mentioned?
Hey guys, sorry about the camera. I was cooking at the same time. Sorry
nice.
about that.
What's up for dinner?
I just ate something like paella with chicken, but not seafood.
Sounds great. Because you mentioned you were building internal tools for your agency. Is a bot something that could help you at your agency?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. So actually, before I was always trying to use spreadsheet and try to get some support from internal developers, part-time developers, but I always got stuck with my effort. So that's why actually I start with no code tools, and now it's pretty easy, by the way. Just at least start to build something is easy. Creating an MVP is like easy and really motivating. So for example, right now I'm trying to create a SEO forecast tool for my agency. At the same time, maybe you saw about my side project, like a coffee shop finder powered by AI. So it will be a good project, I guess. It's really exciting for me. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, maybe a chatbot could work, and otherwise there are the AI stuff is so interesting, right, Kat? I feel you should build something about AI with the chatbot.
Yeah, there's a really big hype, especially in the image AI right now.
Yeah.
Twitter is like booming with AI image websites.
Yeah.
So it's really a hype topic right now.
Yeah, and the copywriting too. I think there are so many tools
Yeah, so many, and really good investments, by the way. Really, I don't know if you heard about Jasper AI. So the AI thing is really a big hype right now. I'm not sure if it should be because it's still in early days. But of course, like integrating it with AI will be a big thing also, I guess.
Have you used it for one of your projects, like one of these tools? How was your experience?
With the AI tools?
Yeah, the AI tools.
Yeah, sure. I used Open AI GPT-3 NG.
Oh yeah.
So actually it works really, really well. We are using it to create content briefs in our agency. So it like before it was taking like 30 minutes to create a brief, but right now like it takes seconds. So it's a really big improvement for us. And I also used it on my side project, the coffee shop finder. In that project, I scraped Google Maps review and sent it to OpenAI to summarize for me. And it was like, I have an AI friend who can visit those coffee shops and summarize all of the reviews for me.
And you can do like a sentiment analysis there to see if most of the reviews are like positive, negative, like if they talk about quality of the service and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, maybe you could do an event for the community to show us how you are playing with these tools. I think it would be cool. I don't know if anyone else would be interested.
Sure. I'd be happy to.
I know Tolga will be.
Tolga are working on image generation, I guess.
Yeah, he's.
It's just for fun. That's it.
Yeah, but it is fun actually. Did you use Midjourney to create those images on your website?
Yes, and also I just play with Night Cafe Studio just a little bit.
Okay, yeah, nice.
I tried it for a logo today, Midjourney.
Yeah.
I saw it.
Was pretty cool. Not perfect yet, but it was better than those. You also have this logo generators. Yeah, those are most of the time pretty boring, but Midjourney did some
Have
cool
you tried
things.
the Mojo Mox?
Yeah, that one is a good one. Yeah, I like that one.
That's a great one.
I think they changed something because normally you just fill in the name and then you get a lot of combinations of fonts and colors.
Yeah.
But they changed something so that you already had to choose a color in the beginning. But I didn't like that. I like that you get the inspiration.
Yeah, but I was actually using it like on last Sunday, and yeah, you have to pick the colors, like the initial palette. But then once the options have been generated, you can customize and pick any color that you want. So in the final step, when you are editing your brand package, you can actually change.
But in the beginning or a few weeks ago, I got this list with 50 options of colors, and I like that more because it shows you cool combinations that you would never think of yourself.
True. True.
I like the typefaces Mojo Max comes up with. I would never pick those. Even if you then take that and take it a bit further yourself.
Yeah. Cool. I also tried the one from what's his name, the famous Twitter guy, Dagobert, with his logo tool, but I don't like those designs.
Is his so he's got a logo tool.
yeah, logology or something like that. I can't pronounce it.
Logology. That's
Yeah,
like,
that one. That
I thought
one.
I think that's just that he makes them, right? Or is they do it
Yeah.
as a service? I think, yeah.
Yeah, his wife makes the designs, and he programs it so that it can be used for anything. But yeah, it's a personal. Yeah, it's a
Based.
style, and you like it or you don't like it, I think. Yeah.
Did you pay for that service? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's also a paying one, I think, from Dagobert. But I didn't use it. I didn't buy it.
Right. Well, I'm mindful of everyone's time here. We are on the hour. I think this was great to see, to watch how you build it. It was also fun to talk with all of you and exchange ideas about AI and stuff like that. It's really interesting. But yeah, I wanted to thank you. Oh, great. It's great to meet you, to see you in person now as well at the hour. Great to meet you. So yeah, thanks, Kat, for this one.
No problem.
Great. Whenever someone has a question about chatbots, Kat is in our Slack community.
Yeah, any tools in general. Kat is your resource, is your go-to resource.
Yeah, she's the head of tools here. So yeah, follow her on Twitter at @CatRise and of course subscribe.
What's next, Harold? What's next what's upcoming?
It's next week.
Yeah, next week we have Mark Fletcher, and he's talking about Airtable. So yeah, we already touched this today a little bit. So I think that's an interesting one. He's quite a data wizard, and he's going to help us.
Brilliant.
Tweets. So yeah, that's definitely a recommendation to follow. Same time, 7 p.m. London time, and that's the third one. And until the end of December, every Wednesday, we have these sessions with one of our creators in residence. So a lot of things to get inspired by and get some new ideas, Lee, maybe for you, because you love the ideas.
Just make some friends.
I like the sound of Airtable next week because I've not done much with Airtable. So yeah.
Really, I'm surprised because as Bubble developer, the way you design a database, it's a bit different, but it still has some similarities.
I mean, saying I haven't used it would be a lie, but I haven't actually built something just with Airtable. I would like to do. So it's often people giving me the thing in Airtable. Saying transfer it in Bubble.
Well, Mark is certainly a master of Airtable. He's helped me with a couple of projects, and I think he's also done some products around Airtable scripts and automations. So it'll be cool to learn from him next week.
Look forward to that. Yeah, definitely.
That's great. And then I think next is PrepJots from top of my head. He will talk about automation stuff, and which is also going to be amazing because he's really a wizard. So yeah, we have a lot of interesting things coming up, and maybe AI isn't on the list yet, but maybe then in January. I'm looking at you. We could do
and hopefully next batch of workshops will be hosted by one of us. Well, Lee already hosted a workshop last week. So yeah, next up is Osam, Manish, Juliet. So yeah, hopefully we'll keep learning together.
Yeah, great. Well, I would say thanks all for visiting. Have a nice evening or day for your rest of the day, and see you next week. Yeah, thanks, Ed.
Thank you. Bye. See you.
Bye.
Guys, see you next week.